Good morning. It's September the 16th, and it's a Friday, so that means heading around the lake. I already see two dogs. Haven't even started yet. Big one over there, and one over here, too. Kind of a gray day. On the agenda, lots more publishing stuff. Hopefully some writing stuff very soon. This will probably be the last walk. I don't know for sure. Certainly won't be one tomorrow. And I don't know after that. Bit of a hiatus probably, but I'll try to squeeze in one or two over the next week, and then I'll be back to normal after that. One thing I did last night was record an audition for Persephone Theatre. A show called The Birds and the Bees I was auditioning for, which comes up in the spring. I was asked to audition for it, which is nice. Specifically, I wasn't just responding to a general audition call. Unfortunately, I can't be here in person, either here or in Saskatchewan, for the in-person audition, so they told me I could do a recording, which I did last night. And you always wish you could do it again. I did it again several times, so I'm picking the best, but none of them were perfect. There's a million ways you can do any line reading. You always wonder if you've made the right choice. But they don't expect you to nail it necessarily in the audition, because they'll be directing you as well, and that'll change everything. So we'll see. I don't have any great expectation of being cast, but if I am, I'm certainly the right age of the character, who's described as a 60-something divorced farmer. Not divorced, and I'm not a farmer, but I am 60-something, so 63 to be precise. It's not a musical. It's just be a straight acting gig, should I get it. But I'll keep you posted, but don't hold your breath. Good morning. Marijuana Morrison. I think it's Morrison. Is it Morrison? Look that close. Oh, Mary Ann, not Morrison. See, my eyes. I tell you, how many times have I seen that too? Why did I think it was Morrison? I don't know. Van Morrison, I guess. It's a marvelous day, night for a moon dance. That guy. Although it's easier to read the screen today because of it being cloudy than some days. I think we'll walk counterclockwise today. I've been mostly walking clockwise, so I will walk clockwise. I've been mostly walking counterclockwise, so we'll change that today. Bridge, we will go down and under, of course. That's our first jogger. 2 dogs and a jogger already. Bingo! we will go this way today. The lake looks a little ruffled, so there's clearly a breeze. Quite gray, but no significant rain expected. One thing I hope to do today is upload audiobook files for one of the books I'm publishing, The Emir's Falcon, which comes out September 27th. Get those uploaded. I haven't done that yet, so it's a new process. Then I also have audiobook files for the next one after that, Thickwood, which comes out October 4th. But I don't think I'll get those done until week after next. It's a bit of a pain. You have to name the files using a specific formula, and they weren't named that by the recording, the narrator, producer, so I have to rename them all. You can see it's looking a little on the choppy side as we go by the aeration fountain here. One of two. Let's see if the other one is running today when we get there. Jogger and a dog over there, and another jogger coming this way. Two walkers. If I ever do the bingo card thing, I'm sure you could fill it up pretty quick. So we'll go by the gazebo here in a minute. To our left. There she blows. Things beeping. Must be coming from the construction site.
This is just like my village. I'm like, well, that's really good. Yeah, and she'd want to.
Just up the hill there where they're working on the new pool. Past that fence. Me blowing a bug off my knuckle. Some kind of bug. And of course the legislative building is always our landmark. There on the south side of the lake. Right where the King's Palace is in my novel Magebane, which uses this, transforms it into a fantasy setting, but that's where the King's Palace is, in front of a lake. And somewhere up here there's a magical barrier that keeps it always spring in here, and even when it's winter outside. Wishful thinking on my part, because I figure if the dome was real that I imagined, this magical protective dome, it would cover where our house is, and it would always be spring there too. There's Willow Island. You can see leaves are starting to get a little paler over there. Not seeing too much yellow, but it's certainly around, starting to show. I figure the time I walk around, because I won't be walking around the lake next week, walk around the lake week after that, I figure we'll be in full yellow. Might even have lost some leaves by then. You can see the hints of color starting to show up. Take the shortcut here. Get right down to the water down here. Sort of a somewhat different view of water. Water is water. which is a good place for it. If it was down here, that would be concerning. Back onto the path. And back off the path as I take the next little shortcut here. Wouldn't mind keeping today's walk a little shorter, so I'll take the shortest routes and not wander onto Pine Island. When I get over there. Here's the parking lot where Shards of Excalibur kicks off, basically, in this patch of water over here to my right. There's my YA fantasy series.
So what did you buy to... I had to buy 2 cans.
So as I always point out, the Lady of the Lake shows up right here. And this Arianne Forsyth and her friend Wally Knight, barely a friend, they barely met at that point, to go find the scattered shards of Excalibur before Merlin can. This parking lot plays an important scene too. Some girls who are bullying Arianne discover that she now has magical power, which puts an end to it pretty quick. PDQ. And that started a 5-book series, which could be more books. Again, there's always more books you can write, but people have to want them. Hello, Mary Lou. Happy Friday to you too. Bit more yellow in that tree too. Comes a dog. Presumably there's an owner attached to it. Yes, there is. Another view of Willow Island here, across the water there.
Ontario.
Crow has something to say up there somewhere. They always do. last look at Willow Island there through the trees. Keep moving this way. We'll now be past the end of it. HMCS Queen over there, which is really a naval ship. Her Majesty's Canadian ship, Queen. It happens to be landlocked, but officially it's a ship. There's one in Saskatchewan too called the Unicorn. And there's the lake again and the Legislative Building. Albert Street Bridge over there. You can walk up here, you don't have to walk on the concrete. Some nice benches down there if you want to enjoy the lake. I never go down here. Let's go down here. All the times I've walked around the lake, I've never bothered to come right down to the edge here where this bench is. So you can sit here and take in the view if you want. Our house is right in that direction where I started, and there's the south end of Willow Island over there. Can't keep going that way. Too much brush. Oof. Some sort of fruit on the ground there, crabapple tree, I think. Rolled under my feet like marbles. Now last week they seemed to have turned this fountain off, so I'm wondering if it's off permanently or if it was just turned down last week. We'll see in a minute. Appears to be off, so it's probably off for the winter now. It should be right there, and it's not. That's the sort of scenic look out there. It's a good place to look right down directly onto the east end of the Legislative Building there. Yeah, so there's a fountain in this pond, but it was being turned off last week, and clearly it's off for the winter now. The bridge. Pause for another look at the lake. At the ledge over there. You can see the little fountain we walked by early on. And then downtown, of course, is behind us there. More yellow in these trees, just trending that way. Waterfall's still going over there on Pine Island. Most of the summer I came by here, there would be kids being dropped off for rowing camps, but of course everybody's back in school now. So all the summer camps are over. As winter gets closer and closer. So we take a pass through the playground here. Birds at the end of each one of those piers. Big ones. They're not geese, I think they're loons, maybe. Side trip through the playground here. Those are dragon boats there, the long skinny ones. I did see people in them, but if they held a dragon boat festival, they didn't advertise it anywhere I saw it advertised. And then up there is Bar Willow with its nice deck. And the marina building there, which has Bar Willow and Lake Tahoe in it. We'll go down along the pier here, up the boat ramp. These are more dragon boats sitting here. Along there, and then a couple of big canoes down there at the end. And there's the waterfall on Pine Island directly across there. This is where you'd launch your boat should you have one and wish to do so. And there's Broad Street ahead of us, our next bridge that we have to cross. Coming up, there's some gulls and one pigeon. I wonder if the pigeon's hanging out there because he's the same color as the gulls. I think that's a pigeon, not a gull. There's a crow on the path. Not too concerned about it getting away from me. I didn't scare him. There's another one there. Or the same one, not sure which. I thought the other one flew further up here, so I think that's a different one. There's often crows along here making comments as you walk by. Now there has been a flute player under here the last few times I came by. Don't know. Is he there today? Yes, he is. I can hear him. Or her. I don't know if you can hear it or not, the sound of a flute coming from under the bridge there. There's the player, headless from this angle, but there. Obviously likes the acoustic under there. There's no other reason to play there. An airplane going overhead. Ducks leaving V-shaped wakes in the water. guess they swim this way. There's always ducks along here. There's another crow, or possibly the one that I was on the path earlier, probably, because that's the direction he flew. Gulls and ducks and geese. We've got ducks and geese and geese and ducks and ducks and geese and geese and ducks. And ducks and geese and geese and ducks and ducks and geese and geese and ducks and water. In Wascana, Wascana, Wascana. That's actually an arrogant worm song, and it's rocks and trees and trees and rocks. We've got rocks and trees and trees and rocks and water in Canada. Inspired by driving across the endless expanse of northern Ontario. What they call northern Ontario, though it's not that much further north than we are, but north of the Great Lakes, Canadian Shield country. I mean, parts of it are further north because it goes up quite a ways, but it's very rough terrain. It's a real challenge when they built the railroad through there back in the 19th century.
Yeah, wheelchair. I guess as long as he can, get. I mean, he's got
2 dogs for the price of 1. If you've never listened to the Arrogant Worms, I recommend you find some of their songs. Some of them are classics, like the Mountie song, Last Saskatchewan Pirate, which they play for the 3rd quarter stretch at Saskatchewan Rough Rider games, even though they use the Captain Tractor recording and not the Arrogant Worms recording, which has bugged me for years. But not going to change now. I've sung that song. In fact, I've sung it in St. John's in the Underbelly, which is under the Yellow Belly brew pub there. Very old building, very, very old underground part. I was there just last fall, just about a year ago, and Alan Doyle, the former lead singer from Great Big Sea, a very well-known Newfoundland musician, was there, and I got to sing it for him in the Underbelly, and he complimented me later, so there you go. There's the bridge over to the Pine Island, which we are not going to today because I'm keeping this a few minutes shorter by taking all the shortcuts. I used to be a pirate and I made a living fine. That's the song. I'll try to stop singing because otherwise it'll just keep going. The chorus is, it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors, when you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores, which we are now walking along. Arr. Regina's mighty shores. Very few pirates to be found in these here waters. Land Surveyor's Monument. I actually had somebody contact me yesterday because a question about survey monuments. They knew I'd written the history of the Saskatchewan Land Surveyors Association. I had to go look it up in the book. I didn't remember what I'd written, but more or less found the answer. There's a whole chapter in the book about monuments and how they've evolved over the years, survey monuments. But it's now been at least 15 years since I wrote that, so I don't remember everything I wrote. I wrote a whole book on genetics, which I could not tell you a thing about anymore. Genetics Demystified from McGraw Hill. It's still out there. I still make a little bit of royalties on it. It's 20 years out of date. Almost 20 years since I wrote it. I think it came out in 2005, if I remember right. I might be getting it confused with the Apeg's history book, which came out in 2005. Anyway, I taught myself genetics, wrote that book, and promptly forgot everything I'd learned. I even did the illustrations for it. Very primitive drawing software that I had at the time. I think back some of the things I've done, and I look at them now and I think, oh, I know I did that, but boy, that was quite the undertaking. So I'll take on anything if there's money involved. Any writing project. I wouldn't do anything for money. There's Wascana Rehab Center over there. I'm sure when this guy joined the path, I'm catching up to him very, very slowly. So it said something about 520 subscribers. When I looked yesterday, it's actually up to 526. So if I keep doing it another year, I might actually get to that magic 1,000 where I can monetize it in some small fashion. Don't think it would make me rich. It'd be nice to make some money on it anyway. Occasional splashes of yellow in the trees here. Whoa, don't know why I put that on. Hold on a second, I'll get that fixed. I don't know why it suddenly decided to quit. Maybe I hit the wrong button. I was trying to adjust it with the sort of joystick control, and the power button is right down there too, so maybe I just caught that. Thought I'd walk down here, get a look at Spruce Island over there from water level. So yeah, that's Spruce Island, and then Pine Island back there that I didn't go on. It's back that way that we just came from. Gimbal is, I never know, sometimes it suddenly will decide that it's not going to point straight ahead, and I don't know how it makes up its mind, because I'm not using the app that comes with it that controls zoom and all that kind of thing, because you can't live stream out of that. So because it does have a fancy app that'll like track faces and stuff automatically, but I'm not actually using that, and yet the gimbal sometimes seems to have a mind of its own. I'll take a slightly different route here, I think. Instead of going down in front of the ledge, which I've walked by a million times this year, I will head more over towards Albert Street. And I see now the gimbal is quite tilted to one side, and I don't know why, because it should be like that. It would be straight. It doesn't seem to want to stay straight. I don't know why. It always bothers me, but I can't do anything about it, so hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. To be at an angle, to see the world askew. What's askew? I don't know. What's askew with you? Yellow up in the high part of that tree for sure. Come on, keep pointing to the front. Keeps wandering off to the left, and I don't know why. At least it's more level now. Instead of going on down by the lake now, I'm going to go over this way, which I've done sometimes, but not recently. I'll walk in front of the Walter Scott building, which is one of the government office buildings along here. Now it's tilted the other way for no particular reason that I can discern. It must have a reason, but I don't know how it decides these things. It's the powerhouse coming up on our right. I don't know if it still generates power or not, but at one point it would have provided power for the legislative building. Maybe it still does, not sure. So when I did my fantasy version of the landscape here for Magebane, there's a power plant in there because the premise of the magic system there is that it still somewhat obeys the laws of thermodynamics. So in order to do magic, you have to have a great deal of energy. And so what that means is you've basically got coal-powered energy, coal-power magic. So there's a big coal power plant. All it does is provide heat, which is the energy that the magicians draw on to do all their magic and to power the magical barrier that surrounds the whole thing. And then where the mage lords have their various castles and so forth, they have to have some source of energy within it, and that often determines where it's placed. So the main bad guy is a guy named Lord Falk, and he's built his stronghold in the fantasy version of the Capel Valley, and he has a natural gas source that he burns for energy. It's still magic, so I didn't worry about whether there's really enough energy being produced to, do what they're doing. But at least made that nod to having to have energy in order to do magic. This is the Walter Scott building. If the gimbal will just follow me around. Here we go. Two more joggers for your bingo card. And a dog coming too, so it's really a cliche. You almost never see anything new. It's always joggers and dog walkers, joggers and dog walkers, and pedestrians. That's the Walter Scott building. Obviously that accessible entry is relatively new. The old building was built back before they worried about such things. I don't know exactly when it was built. Probably in the 50s. Possibly the late 40s, probably in the 50s. So this will bring us up the west side of the legislative building. There's a fountain up here, but I don't know if it's running either. They tend to start to turn them off this time of year as they prepare for winter. Oh, it is running. That's nice. So at least we can see it. Gimbal, come on. Yellow here too in these trees. But here's the aforementioned fountain. This looks like it'd be a lovely place to sit and read a book or something. I never have, but I could. Ooh, watch out for that dip in the landscape. Here's the east end of the legislative building. And the parking lot and the lawn, and now you can see the dome starting to appear. The gimbal thinks I want to keep pointing in that direction, and I don't, so back we bring it again. There's settings somewhere that I need to look at. It's been bothering me more and more. We're going to go over this way and cross over on the other side, walk down the other side of the bridge to get home. Really lucky, we'll hit the light up here just right, but it's been red for a while, so I suspect it's going to change before I get there, and I won't have time to cross. But we'll see. Maybe not. It's a very long light here, so I might have time. I'll go by this little flower bed. I'm going to make it shine, this little flower bed of mine. Purple. Yeah, actually, it is a long light. It's still red. After all that time I took to walk up here. Can't be much longer. This is Albert Street, of course. Still waiting. Could walk down that way and then catch that one, but I thought I was going to catch this one really well, and it still isn't turning. Oh, I should have gone on down that way. Probably would have changed already down there. Oh well, I'll just sit and look at the other side of the street. Honestly, this thing must be a 5-minute delay. 5 minutes waiting for this light to change since I first saw it. Certainly 2 or 3. It still isn't changing. Going down there has changed twice. Oh, there it goes. About time. Yay. And the gimbal will not swing around. It's going to keep pointing in that direction. By some of these big houses here along Albert Street here. This gimbal's giving me fits today. It may have something to do with the way my angle of my wrist changes as I walk as well. Lovely red flowers on that one. Oh, well, if I get a move on, I can. Oh, drat. I'll have to wait for this one to change too, which is really annoying. But there you go. Not to be done. So, kind of the last view of the lake, since I didn't walk around it the way I usually do. Flopped over again for no particular reason. And again. And again. I can't even think I'm going to have to get a new gimbal. This one, I just don't understand why it's doing that. And it's boring to talk about, so I apologize for that, but it's annoying. There's lots out there. There's better than this one. This was actually kind of a cheap previous generation one I got. I even had a better one of this make when I got this one. As I said, I don't make any money doing these walks, so I spend too much money on my equipment. The gimbal is absolutely necessary, though. Without it, you get motion sick because of the movement. Well, I don't, but people watching it might. Here we go. We can take a look here at the creek. Any birds down there? Just those black fishing type birds. And then there's the creek and the bridge. Almost home now. 10 more minutes. See the nice terracotta balustrade and the bison heads at each pillar here. Lamppost. another jogger. I know her. Again, I always like that house. Never seen inside it though. Camel's just jerky. What the heck is going on with it? It's probably just dirty. Like, look, there's no reason for it to do that, but there it went. It's like it suddenly lost its strength, lost the will to carry on. Maybe I should see about, maybe there's some dirt or something has built up in some of the joints, and that's what's making it do that. Because it's almost like it's trying to adjust and it's stuck, and then suddenly it adjusts and it flops. That's kind of what that looks like. I suppose I could read the manual, but I don't know how you can't exactly wash the thing. It's not water resistant. Dip it in dry cleaning fluid maybe, but I don't think that sounds like a good idea. Alcohol. Maybe I just need to get a toothpick inside some of the nooks and crannies and see what I can dig out. I always wonder how long they leave up the sold sign after they sell. These were for sale and they've been sold for quite a while, but the sold sign at the real estate company stays up. Maybe it's until all the paperwork is signed and the sale is 100% certain. Our alley is certainly showing signs of fall. We're looking at Davin School down there at the end. Not our alley, but it's one that takes me to our crescent. Not our crescent, but the one we live on. This is Leopold Crescent. Come on, thing. Oop, it just gave up entirely there. Whee! Well, let's do it again. Hey, wasn't that fun? Could have just quit there. I'm close to home, but anyway, I didn't. It was a little shorter by not going on to Pine Island and a couple of things like that, but still in the usual ballpark. See? I didn't do that. It did it itself. Car coming, so we'll go down the side of the now it's crooked again. All right, we'll stop here. So, thanks for walking with me at this somewhat crooked look of the crescent there. And like I said, I don't know when I'll be back over the next few days. In about a little over a week, I'll be back to normal, but in between there'll be a bit of a, not sure. But I'll see you when I see you. Bye for now.